what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video by the Arsenal blog. Today we are joined by Gills and Cardiff defender Deji Oshilaja. Thanks for coming on, mate. So we'll crack straight on then. We're just going to ask him a couple of questions. So we'll start off with season just gone. We were just talking before we went on air. What are your thoughts on the season just gone then?
Ultimately, I think as a group we're disappointed, but I think we've got a sense of relief that obviously we managed to keep us up. And obviously that wasn't the initial target at the beginning of the season. But it's one that we had to alter the situation that we were in. So obviously ultimately we just had to make sure that we stayed in the league, and obviously we did that.
We were saying, is it relief, or is it frustration, or is it a bit of both?
I think it's more relief, but it is a bit of frustration as well, because of I know how good we are. Obviously, as a team, we know how good we are, and I think the fans know that as well. It's one of them ones where things just didn't go right for us during the whole season, and we find ourselves in that situation. So I think the fact that we actually managed to stay up is not a sense of happiness; it's more a sense of relief. And like, okay, cool, we managed to do that. Okay, cool, the season's gone now, and then obviously we look forward to the next one. Basically.
Yeah. So if you go through our players individually, they're all good players. So we was wondering that halfway through the season, it started getting that downward spiral. So like, we're annoyed. We didn't think it would get as bad as it did. Sort of things. Like, we've all got individual players here who like, they know how to play the game. Most of them proven in the league for years. And then like, as you were saying before we come on, it's like you don't know why it went wrong. So
no, it's definitely
don't really know what happened.
It's definitely a disappointing thing. It's definitely something that I don't think any player could answer really, because on paper, as you said, we're a very good team, especially at this level anyway. And I feel as if the team didn't get any worse. I feel as if the team got stronger, like in terms of depth. I just feel like it's one of the ones where I think maybe when the results started to go against us, I think like subconsciously we started to think, okay, cool, we're conceding late goals, let's just retreat. And obviously, the more pressure you take, like it's more inevitable that you will concede or you'll make a mistake. So I think that's the kind of situation we find ourselves in.
Because right at the start of the season, Deji, like us as fans, we've spoken about like on our blog and stuff like that. I mean, and certainly as players the sort of players that we were bringing in, Jermaine Thomas, Chesky, Alhora at a later stage, Scott Wagstaff, people like Owen just said, players that are proven at this level. Did you have a real sense of we're going to have a real go here?
Yeah, cool. Especially in the first three games of the season, I thought we got a very, very strong team here. Especially things like seeing us in training and stuff. And obviously, I didn't play pre-season as much because I had an injury. But just watching the team and how strong we look, even though obviously we weren't getting the best of results, we looked like we were physically like in a good place. Especially when we started for Southend and we won that game. And obviously, Jay's quality was there for everyone to see. I definitely thought that this season we're going to definitely push on.
Yeah, even stronger. Even at the beginning of that month, we had a bit of a rough patch with the sort of habit of going behind. We still had like the mentality to go back and win the game, or at least get something from the game. So, like, as you say, like the first two games against Southend, for example, we went 1-0 down, but we still had enough to come back and just win the game. Remember that I said about Jermaine Thomas, like that second half, did you go to the cup game?
Yeah.
The second half when he came on, it's like just a complete switch. It's like 2 goals. We won that game, and we come out. What we saw, I remember the video on Sunday. You guys didn't talk about it. Like we've got a team and a half here. It's like you say, we don't know what happened, but it's sort of like it goes back to the point of having good players on paper. Sort of like you don't really know why these things go wrong, but it's just the way it was. Yeah.
We mentioned about Backjet. Of course, like he left us in January. What was he like? I mean, there's obviously since the season's ended, there's been things flying around on Twitter and stuff like that. But like he didn't want to be around the place. What was he like in the dressing room? And
if I'm being totally honest, with Jay, like he's a bubbly character, a very bubbly character. Like, obviously, when things were particularly going wrong, like, he was still like lively and like a happy person, can I say? And obviously, with me coming in personally, like he's a good friend of mine. So obviously, like he was, to my eyes, he was fine. But obviously, I don't know what goes on, but I'm not around, so I can't comment on anything. But in terms of like his persona and the way he is, obviously to me, like he's a nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
do you think? I mean, he got criticised by Gills fans for kind of the way he strolled around the pitch and stuff like that. Do you think and it was one of my opinions as well that I said on our podcast, that I thought towards the end of the season we actually kind of missed Jay Emmanuel Thomas, because I thought that maybe he wouldn't have to do anything for 85 minutes, but he could win your games just like that. And do you think that we maybe missed that towards the end of the season?
I think when you got a player like Jay's quality, it's always better any team, regardless of what situation they're in. And obviously, everyone knows how good Jay is, and obviously, but at the same time, we did have quality players like to replace Jay. At the same time, obviously, we got Danky, we had Wrighty scoring goals, like we had Cody, we had very good players in terms of team as well. So obviously, Jay was a big miss, yeah, definitely. But we also had players that could step into that kind of like form of what Jay was doing for us, basically. But obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing, basically. And obviously, you never know what could happen, what not. So obviously, one of the ones where you look back now and you think, okay, maybe things might have been different. But again, obviously, the manager made his decision, and obviously, we stuck by it as a club, and obviously, we moved on from there, basically.
So, at the start of the season, it was Justin Edinburgh. He was the guy that brought you to the club. First time. Been at the club 2 years. Yeah. Weird being on loan, because you don't really see that much loan. But what was Justin like? And I know you certainly come out on Twitter, and a few others said that you were sad to see him go. And was you sad to see him go? And
yeah, of course. Was he good for you? With the old gaffer, he's a good friend of mine, and obviously he's the one that had my first loan move as well, like at Newport. So obviously I always had that connection with him, and with me personally, he's always been a good guy. Even when there wasn't a player, but he was still, obviously I still knew him personally, and obviously we still spoke. But it's football really, like things change, like managers change here and there, obviously players change as well. So it's one of the ones where as professionals, we have to deal with it and we have to adjust to it. Obviously new gaffer and new stuff came in, and to be fair to them, they were trying very hard, and obviously a lot of the team, all of us could see it, and they were trying, basically. Obviously we were in a bad place in terms of our results or whatever. And maybe our mentality wasn't as right, so obviously they were just working at that to try and get us right. Basically.
Do you think then, as a club, halfway through that season, we needed a change? Do you think that the boys needed maybe a fresh start?
I don't know because it's a weird one, because I've never really been in a situation like this. I don't know if changing the manager works or if it didn't work. One thing I do know is that obviously with the old gaffer, like maybe we weren't getting the best results, but obviously we were playing bit better, and we were getting better. Basically, obviously, with the club decided to change, and obviously that's a decision that we all respect. So I don't really know if it's a situation where we needed a change. I'm not really experienced in that level there.
Yeah.
But obviously they banned new guys, and then obviously we all respected them to the floor, and obviously we just had to go from that basically.
So I say from hindsight being a beautiful thing. Yeah. So when Edinburgh left, we were 8 points above the relegation zone, and our aim for that season was to make the playoffs. So we were thinking, I personally thought it was the right decision at the time. I said that in the hope that we'd get someone better than him to take us up. And then, as obviously for whatever reasons, I personally don't think it's worked out this season. We've obviously dropped dramatically and hung on just about. But what did you think when he first got brought into the club? Obviously, I don't know how much the players know about him being a club legend or whatever, but do you think he was like... Did you have an ideal appointment at the time, or do you sort of, obviously as a player, you have to adjust to whatever comes in? So?
I don't really know managers too much. I didn't really know much of the gaffer at the time. I just heard that he's a club legend, and obviously he was so upset with something like that. So obviously he has that respect of me, like straight away from myself. But I don't really know about. I never really had like an ideal appointment or someone that I prefer to think. I just basically go to train and try my hardest, and obviously play games, and obviously whoever the manager at the time. Play your hardest for them and for the club, so it's not really someone that I would rather have.
You say that he, you worked hard, and did Pennock make a lot of changes when he came in and stuff like that? Was it completely different from Justin? So
I think with the new gaffer, it was more we tried to get our shape as like more of a unit kind of thing. But I think that with the old gaffer, we were more free, as in like we could have express ourselves, and obviously like and our abilities to win us the games kind of thing. I think with this new gaffer coming in, I think obviously having watched us play like from previous games, I'm sure he would have watched us play previous game. He must have thought that okay, cool, we need to get that solid foundation, like a base, and then obviously we work off that base. So I think he definitely came in and worked on shape a lot. He worked on shape a lot, in fact, and tried to get our team to be solid and hard to beat kind of thing. And obviously, that's something that he's big on. That's something that a lot of players took to as well. So I don't really know why we end up being where we were. Because it wasn't for lack of effort on the time.
I mean, reading between the lines there, Deji, like Justin let you free go and play and be free, and where Pennant come in and said like, right, we're hard to beat. That kind of seems to me that you made in January a switch between like go out, do whatever within the rules, obviously, and then we went into kind of a right, we're going to stick 10 men behind the ball and try and counter, and that's quite a big change. So in that halfway through the season, isn't it?
Some adjustment that maybe just weren't able for whatever reason just to acclimatise to.
Yeah.
It's a way. Look, I don't necessarily think we get 10 men behind the ball. I think it's more than one where we get 2 backs and 4 if we're playing 4-4-2. Or should I say, I'm going to go for bigger 4-4-2. I think it's more of a thing where, okay, cool. When we've got the ball, express ourselves kind of thing. Obviously, the guy lack the wingers, and obviously lack the fullback to support. Yeah. But when we haven't got the ball, it's literally get into a block and obviously like make sure it feels somewhat wide, or like make sure that nothing comes through the middle of us. And that's something that he was really big on, and something that he really tried to implement, and he's like to implement to us as a team. So I think it's a weird one.
It is weird. I mean, you say about 4-4-2 with AD, like he wanted to play it and he wanted to play with wingers, and he said that in his press conference when he come in, didn't he? But we only saw 4-4-2 once. Do you think that was to do with injuries and I mean, Wagstaff in and out the team when he would have been my first choice right winger certainly, and then to strike
at questionable signings, not due to the player themselves, due to how we signed them.
What being injured?
When it's uncalled for me was already injured. No doubt, not that he's fit as a player. I mean, it's not questioning signing a player when he's injured. I mean, it took us like a month or so to get. Was
it frustrating? I mean, certainly for you. You played in last season. We researched up. You played in a back 5, a back 4, and a back 3, and you played left back as well. Was that frustrating for you as a defender? Because I know that. I mean, Max was saying in his previous interview that he had different partners all the time, and was it frustrating for you moving about?
I think as a defender, you want to get like a solid unit and like a familiarity with who you're playing with. So obviously, exactly. But obviously with that being said as well, we had a lot of injuries, and obviously I think at the time a lot of like, key players were injured and obviously in key positions. So I think the gaffer was obviously trying to find a solution to fit players into a formation that would work. Basically get us more solid business, and we have a 3 at the back as well with 3 centre backs. And obviously, like you get different fans. We've seen like Ryan Jackson drop in with 3 centre backs, obviously. And I think personally he did that well as well.
I actually like Ryan Jackson there. I actually preferred him as the first centre half than a right back.
It's a weird one because obviously I think the gaffer was just trying to do things to get us to win, basically. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was a thing where he was worrying about this and where in the back. He was just looking at a formation, looking at a team, looking at 11. I think, okay, cool. This is the 11 I'm going with, and this is the team that I believe is going to help me win that game. And obviously, we managed to stay up in it. So obviously,
yeah. In the end, it was like you said, it was frustrating and relief. Certainly about that final day. How was you feeling pre-match and certainly after the final whistle? Explain that day, just throughout the dressing room and stuff like that.
Do you know what's crazy? As in, we all knew what was on the game. There's no one gonna lie, so we didn't think about it. But before the game, the gaffer and the stuff, to be fair to them, they just literally made us feel calm. They just said, okay, cool, it's another game. Like, don't approach it any other way that you wouldn't. And literally just go out there and play your game. And literally it's the same thing, like, fair enough, it's not something going our way, but they always say, just go out and play your game, and if you play to the best of your ability, you will win that game. You get what I'm saying? And I generally said that. I said that before in interviews before. Like, if we all play to the best of our ability, we will win most games in this league. You get what I'm saying? So I think they literally said to us, listen, it's another game. Don't let the pressure try to get too much to you. Like me personally, I was very calm. Obviously I was struggling with injuries at the time. So
you was actually injured that day, was you?
I've been injured for a while, to be fair. But it's one of the ones where we were in a great position. So exactly, like, I just had to play, kind of thing. Like, and obviously I wanted to help the team as well. So, but definitely after the final whistle, I thought the other game was finished as well. Obviously, I heard the
No,
fans
it's
cheer,
5 minutes.
So I thought the game would get,
that cheer was Fleetwood got a goal disallowed.
Oh,
and
okay.
Fleetwood scored, and then we were like cheering and stuff like that, and then it got disallowed. But I mean, yeah, it was 5 minutes after. Did you know from the side of the pitch, was the management and the players being kept updated from the Fleetwood that game? Or
Yeah. Like Daki was sitting by the bench there, and like I think twice during the second half, I must have asked if that was the score from the other game, and then I think he's obviously did it discreetly to let me know. Because one of them, in that game, we could have won that. I thought we should have won that game anyway.
White missed the penalty, didn't he? Was it here we go again when White missed that?
Do you know what's crazy? I thought, okay, cool. Missed the penalty, but I thought we'd score again. I thought we'd score again. We obviously did a good form. So I generally thought, cool, we'll get another chance. They had a few good chances as well. Obviously, they had one chance throughout the game, really. You know, so they missed that. But definitely once.
Second half as well.
Exactly. We could have had that. We've had a lot of chances.
I personally thought you played very well that day. I thought we were really solid that day. I thought we did more than enough to win the game. So a few times got lucky when Cody was on the defensive slipped a couple of times. So little things I think like, guys, this isn't going to be our day, is it? But no, we're lucky we got away the other game. But yeah, the point being, I did think we deserved to win that game. I thought we played very well. Restricted to literally nothing. Did it make any sort of difference having played? Obviously, you were out on the left foot having to go past your old manager all the time. Did any of the players have that in the back of their minds of playing against their old manager, or was it sort of just a coincidence?
Nah, I don't think anyone really thought about we're playing against just the elements team, like the old manager here. I think there's one thing where we acknowledged them before the game. Like, we see them, and obviously, like we might have a talk or whatever. Once you get on the pitch, obviously we knew what we had to do. We knew that if we'd won, literally we stay up basically. So I think everyone was so concentrated on, okay, cool, let's get that done. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's focus on that. Let's not think about it being against the old manager. Yeah. Let's not think about the new manager. Let's not think about nothing. If we win this game now, we're safe basically. So I think that was the mentality that I tried to adopt myself anyway. I'm sure the other players around me, like they had that same mentality because obviously we attacked very well, I thought, and we defended solidly as well. So I don't think anyone really was thinking about the old death or anything.
I mean, Justin didn't help himself that day, to be honest. I don't know, you must know it now, but he refused Adi Pennock's hand. I mean,
I thought the bit when he missed a penalty.
I mean, you say you're personal friends with Justin. Did it disappoint? Did it disappoint the players that you kind of acted that way towards us and things like that? Because, I mean, like fans have said that we did overachieve under Justin and Bruh, bar the few months that when he got sacked. Did it disappoint that he acted kind of in that way?
Like, the old gaffer's a very emotional guy. And also football is very emotional as well. Like as in, obviously you guys get emotional as being fans, and obviously and imagine being players and fans, imagine players and managers, and obviously the gaffer like, he enjoyed his time with him, and obviously to him maybe he thought as if okay cool, like he wasn't happy the way it ended, and I think his frustration came out at that moment in time. Sometimes you do things that you don't really think about.
Yeah.
At the time, and then you think about it later, and obviously that's why I'm sure they had like their talk later on, and obviously
had beer after.
He must have apologized for that.
Yeah.
Whatever, but there's times when you get heat in a moment kind of thing, and then you just do things that you don't normally do kind of thing. So obviously, I'm sure he felt a type of way after.
Certainly after that game, two emotional interviews from Stuart Nelson and Adi Pennock. Pennock saying, I don't know if you've seen it, but when he come in, the squad was unfit. You obviously have now said that you were carrying an injury. He also said there was poison in the dressing room, and it was quite an unhealthy place to be.
That's where we got the whole jet from.
Yeah, that's where we got the whole jet from.
Someone tweeted him something the other day, and he towards his tweet says like something about people covering their own backs in football. I don't know if that was referring to
I mean, the thing is, Dead, like Jets, one of your mates and stuff like that. The poison in the dressing room comment also didn't probably help himself, and then he said, "I had to say that we were going for promotion." That also didn't help him. I mean, you're in that dressing room. What's your comment about poison and stuff like that?
Like I've said to many people, like a lot of my friends have asked me, "There's like, so how was the dressing room?" Like the dressing room itself is a very lively place. and because we're a very close group, and we're reasonably young as well. So obviously, while some, but like we were all like, even when things were particularly going very well, we were all very like bubbly and like ready to train, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, in terms of poison, I don't know about that. I don't know about how the gaffer obviously spoke to players. Maybe he obviously spoke to players behind closed doors, and then they gave him something that he didn't particularly want to hear.
Maybe.
Or I can't comment on what other players did to him personally. Do you get what I'm saying? But as a player that's expected in the change room, so I'm saying, and looking into the change room, I didn't see any visible poison. Do you get what I'm saying? There could have been stuff behind closed doors, or when I wasn't in the change room.
Yeah.
But obviously, when we looking in, it looked like a calm change room kind of thing. Obviously, like a team that wanted to achieve kind of thing. We weren't happy with where we were. We weren't going to let it like stick on our minds and get the best of us. So we're just trying to do everything possible to get out of the situation that we were in.
Owen?
Yeah, to be fair, I try not to look into that comment too much because obviously we don't, like you say, we don't know what goes on in the changing, let alone behind the closed door, so we can only speculate on those sort of things. But I only linked it to Jet considering the tweets that obviously sent out. But I don't think there's much more to say on it that week. Because I think you played it up quite well, you know, which is pretty good. Something I did want to ask you, it isn't related to that at all. Last season, as I touched on that, last season, do you reckon like you particularly, as a team, we've missed John Egan this season? Obviously, you and him were quite a good, really good centre-half player last season. I remember particularly well, it was a Boxing Day game away at Swindon, and you and Egan literally won everything in the air for 90 minutes, so that was when we were up thinking about just before it all went a bit downhill. We won 3-1, it was like one of the best away performances I've seen. Like, you and John and all the defence, like, so just cleaned everything up and did it for like, pretty much the whole of the season. Really. I was like, wondering if that, and the loss of a player that big, how that impact the change.
Ig's a big player, a very good player as well. And obviously we all knew that, and we knew him leaving would be a big miss. But then when you think about the other players that he brought in, the players that were here already, like for example, Max Ammer, like Max is a big player as well, like a very good player as well. I'm sure the fans know that. You get what I'm saying? So obviously, when you got someone like, because there was times when Max was playing with Iggs, I was playing with Iggs, I was playing with Max, and obviously, I don't necessarily feel as if it was because we missed Iggs that we didn't particularly do well as a defence. I think it was more of a thing where, like, everything just didn't go our way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like everything that possibly could have gone wrong.
I think it was frustrating, Dej, because certainly in the summer, this is my personal opinion, I actually don't think we replaced John Egan. We had you and Max, and if you looked then, we then later on in August signed Bailey Cargill, but we didn't see him for 3 months.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, regardless of the signings like Jet and O'Hara, one thing we were crying out for was experienced defenders.
Yeah.
Never really arrived until their training, and that was January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we waited. We were thinking. We all knew like a while ago before we actually left, he was going to go. And then signed a contract like nothing. It's better than this league, so we don't really think for that. As long as we replace him with someone experienced, gets ready to sort of never really happened. And we thought that might. It's always on the back of my mind that we're going to regret not doing that. It seems like we might have done to an extent until Zesh come in. He brought a bit of experience to come well to be fair, but I still think that we still need someone like that again next season.
Was it frustrating for you that you were saying that you've been carrying injuries this season and stuff like that? That was it frustrating that in the back of your mind that before that we had before we brought in Bailey and Zesh, that in the back of your mind that we haven't actually got another centre half here? Was it kind of in the back of your mind that we'd not replaced him?
I didn't think too much of thinking that, I'm not going to say another one as a cover or like someone to just there or whatever. I think it was more I thought, okay, cool. This is the team that we've got. Like, we've got players that can fill in that centre back as well. Yeah. So, like, for example, we've got Patern and obviously Hardy had a lot of injuries this season. But Hardy's a very good player in himself as well, especially the things that you see in training. And obviously, like, his stats or whatever are not particularly in his favour, like Gio's or him. But he's a very, very good player. And obviously, I don't think the fans want to see the best out of him. Because obviously, injuries and things like that. Yeah. So,
there's a couple of performances in there. Bradford away, that Charlton at home, like those sort of performances.
No, he's a very good player. And I think with that being said as well, I just feel like we look for different things and we look for different reasons as to why the season went the way it did.
Yeah.
And obviously we nitpick at anything.
Of course.
And if things would go the other way, it would have been like, okay, cool, we didn't need to bring an experienced centre back or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Because obviously me and Matt's got enough game between us, and obviously with Hardy as well. And you got other players like Manchester playing as well. So it's one of the ones where like you look at it now, have we come off the season that we did, and then you ask questions.
So you, like I mentioned earlier, you've actually been on loan to us in a total of like nearly 2 years now. Well, yeah, it is 2 years, isn't it? Is that kind of weird that you're, you know, any time that it could be like, so you've gone back to Cardiff now, obviously. Is it weird that you weren't our player, or did you just kind of treat it as, no, I'm the Gills player and that's it?
Yeah, like I've always said that, like, whatever club I'm at, whether it be loan or signed permanently, that's the club that I'm playing for at that current time. That's the club that I'm fully focused on. And obviously, especially when I first signed for Gills, I felt very welcome. And even the second time coming around as well, I felt very welcome as well. So my mind was fully focused on Gills itself. Obviously, when the season ends, then I go back to my parent club and I think about that. As I was playing for Gills, I was totally focused on the club and trying to help us achieve the best that we possibly could.
How's Cardiff been with you? Have they, during the 2 years, have they been regular contact? Have they been down to watch games? And what
I believe they've been in dialogue with my agent. I think that's between the 9, in fact. So obviously, watch that space. We'll see how that develops, and where things go from there. Basically.
Are you open to come back to Gills? Do you want to return? Do you want to come back? Do you feel there's a bit unfinished business?
It's definitely an option. As in, that's where football. You never know where you're going to end up. Like, you can end up in Thailand, you can end up in Australia, you can end up anywhere. Basically, do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I said before that it's a great club. And obviously, like, the fans are very passionate, and that's something I care about. Like, people that obviously want their team to do well. And obviously, the boys that are still here, they're great boys anyway. And obviously, the boys that have left, they're going to be great boys anyway. So obviously, it's a place that I'd enjoy coming back to. But again, it's something that we would definitely. I didn't think about when
if Cardiff were to kind of say, right, Dej, like you've had your time with us, like you've had 2 years of Gills now, we're going to let you go. Would Gills be the first option that you kind of come back to and say, right, now I want to go, I want to start things.
Again, it's an option. Obviously, we still don't know who the manager is.
Of course, yeah.
So obviously, the manager might not. The manager might want a different change. I know what's changing, whatever. So obviously, I've got to wait and see what happens there. And obviously, when the new manager gets appointed, then obviously, if he's interested to talk to me, then we can definitely talk to my agent, and then obviously we'll sort something out. But obviously, again, it's one of the ones where I have to just let me when it gets there. So I can't talk too much about this. Like,
of course. Do you think it'll be AD that take over, or do you think, by the sounds of it, it'll be a new manager?
I'm not actually sure. One thing I do know, like if AD was the manager, I know he'll try. I definitely know he'll try his hardest, and like he'll definitely try to change the fans' view on him as a manager in the serve because he's a very nice person and he works hard to be fair to him, and his staff is very good as well. But I don't really know who's going to come in or who everyone wants to come in. I don't really watch that too much. I just mainly try to focus on what I need to do and where I need to get to.
Do you think in the position the club's in now, do you think they need someone like AD that cares about the club and works hard, like you said, or do you think they kind of need to go down a route where it's a whole new slate, it's a whole new different? It needs experience in there. Do you think it maybe might need a more of an experienced head and a bit of a know-how in the Football League?
It definitely helps when you've got someone that cares about the club. Because obviously they're going to feel passionate with the fans, they're going to feel the passion of the fans, the passion of the players as well. But again, whatever route the club decides to go down, that's something that I'm sure the fans will get behind them regardless of being AD or it being Jose Mourinho or Pep Guardiola. I'm sure the fans will get behind the signing of that manager regardless. So it's not something that I'm really
anything?
I don't know if I'm certain, but at the Northampton game I say rumoured, I didn't see myself. We hear a lot that Kenny Jackson was in the stands. And that'd be, if I could pick one up in my personal one, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know if there's anything in that. Some saying rumours he's a scout for Tottenham or something like that. How would you feel if he was? Obviously, he's got promoted out this league before.
I don't really know too much about any manager, to be honest. I just know that I'm a Chelsea fan, and that's it. So I don't really know anything about any other manager. Obviously, I'm sure there's other managers there as well, looking at different players or looking at whatever. So obviously, it's probably just speculation in itself. Obviously, someone is trying to make something, or it could be cheap-handed. I don't know. So it's something that I'd rather see what happens.
So 2 years at Gills then. In case you don't return, Deji, how do you kind of sum up the 2 years that you've had at Gills? Is it frustrating? Was it good for you, or was it? I mean, frustrating in terms of that first year under Justin could have easily quite gone up to the Championship in those first 7 months as well. I think we were top of the league at one stage.
Yeah. I was so convinced that Wigan game went the other way. I think we've gone up.
Yeah. How do you sum up your 2 years at the football club?
I'll say it's been a very good experience. A very good learning curve for me personally. Because I experienced 2 sides of the spectrum. I experienced the first year of trying to get promotion, and probably should have get promotion. Obviously having a disappointment, and then now obviously coming back to last season, having full relegation kind of thing, and obviously beating the whole getting relegated thing. So obviously I've learned, and I've matured in myself. But obviously I've enjoyed my time. A lot, in fact. Even the ups and the downs, you enjoy both. Obviously you can't take them too personally. Obviously it will develop you as a player, and develop you as a person. So I've enjoyed it.
Because you're still a young guy, do you think that like the 2 years spent at Gills that will certainly help you in your career? And
yeah, of course, definitely. As in, every experience is a learning curve. Regardless of being, if you played 100 games or you played like 20 games, definitely you will learn something from that experience. You get into it, and you will learn how to deal with things differently. So I've definitely matured as a person and as a player, and I've definitely learned things that I wouldn't have learned if I wasn't there. So I think it was good for me.
So specific game over the 2 years that you remember quite well was one of your favourites, and it was actually one that you think like one of the most forgettable games you've had at Chelsea.
I'll say probably it's hard because I've had a lot of enjoyable moments here. But probably Sheffield United first game of the season last year. That was a very exciting game. That was a very enjoyable game as well. And maybe a game that I didn't enjoy the most probably was maybe Northampton. The season just gone.
Really?
Because obviously, just having known what we were basically going out for. So I guess obviously, and I haven't waited after we finished the game as well.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I didn't enjoy the most, just the waiting around bit after we finished that game. But again, obviously we managed to stay up, so it's a positive in itself.
Yeah. So we're in the interview there then. Thank you to Deji for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Just want to wish you the best of luck, just in case you don't end up back at Gills, and hope that go on and progress in your career. I'm sure you will, whether it's at Gills or not.
Thank you for your efforts over the past 2 years as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, guys, that is it then. Thank you for watching. Make sure you drop a like below, keep subscribing, and lastly, up the Gills.